Yeah, I hear you good. Is my sound good on your end? It's clear. I got these. Okay. I need this mom come by. I'm not feeling it. No, it's all good, man. Everything good on this end. I got the landscape set up like we said in the letter, and yeah, I'm promoting and talking in the inboxes. I sent about 500 invites, personal invites. So hopefully 10 people, like, well, 20 people. Cascade up, event to event, experience to experience.
Okay. Welcome to 2022. Let me turn down this audio. Some a little bit of feedback here. Got some audio. Okay. And I'm gonna open up the camera angle a bit. Let's zoom out. Let's get that. Well, today we have a very special episode. We're going to be talking about the music, the culture, and the life in Latin America. I have a special guest today, Shadow, the ArchAngel. He's live from Peru. So let's get this technical details sorted out and we'll get started right away. Okay, let me get this focused out.
This real?
Yeah, I'm streaming. Yeah, I'm streaming, but you're not on camera yet.
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
streaming, and I'm just getting this guy lined up a little bit. Alright. Alright, I just want to open up the angle a bit. But here we go. And let's get you on. Interesting. Oh, I see what happens. It's a different browser tab. All right. Now we go switch the camera too. Well, like promised, this is a special episode. It's special because this is one of the first broadcasts just in English. We have lots of people who are interested in finding out about what's happening here in Latin America. And there are a lot of people here in Latin America that's interested in finding out what's going on in other parts of Latin America as far as the culture, as far as the music, and certainly as far as what it's like living there. And so today, I have a great friend of mine, talented musician, talented artist. He's here. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about our perspective. We're going to be sharing our experiences with you so we can share these ideas, communicate, and even make some plans about what's happening in the upcoming year. And so without further ado, I want to introduce you to Shadow, the ArchAngel. Shadow, welcome.
What's going on, everybody? This is Shadow. Thank you for having me on Música Local, including me in this talk about the music, the life, and the culture. Um, you know, everyone, this is going to be a very exciting topic. Might give you ideas for your own dreams and your own goals. And we're glad to have each and every one of you listening, streaming, however you consume it. So, yeah, man, I'm here.
Well, great. I'm glad that you were able to take out some time on the 1st of January, 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, 2021 was a year of adventure, excitement,
Yeah.
changes. At least for me, but for you, you're in Lima, Peru right now. Tell me
Yeah.
about this change in year and how that's different from what you went through last year.
All right. Well, I'll start off by saying that this year has been one of the most exciting, scary, but prosperous years I've had um, almost in my whole life. I actually see the vision starting to come together. Met a bunch of great people, met a bunch of positive people from all different walks of life. I've been definitely inspired by you, you know, to make these types of changes and make these different ways of thinking real by just taking that leap of faith and taking that step. But to get into the details, um, this year I've been first in Colombia working on something out there more long term, and these are just broad generalities. We'll get into the stories more as the conversation flows. But then after Colombia, went to Dominican Republic for a little while, working on the documents I needed to be more long term in Colombia. And then finally, I'm here before I return to one of my new homes, Colombia, in Lima, Peru, just relaxing, seeing the city. This is one of the greatest Latin American countries, in my opinion, after being here so far, economically, price wise, what you're able to do with services and transportation systems. It's great, man. Great,
That's
man.
all
So
exciting. Latin America is, for me, is filled with adventure, opportunities, and changes. I think my process um, really evolved around seeing how life is different and how that difference was more valuable to me. So it's interesting to see other people and their perspectives when they're making a change like that.
yeah,
And one of the first things that caught my attention was the music. I remember being in the streets of Cartagena and I found rappers freestyling.
yeah.
Like not just one or two guys, but just like a
Oh,
bunch of them.
everybody. Yeah,
And this was their day to day life. This is how they made money. This is how they put bread on the table.
yeah. That's how they eat. Yeah,
And it was really encouraging to see like wow. I remember back in the day, like for me, like watching people come up. I never really saw people hungry like this.
yeah. Not like that.
And
Now the power
nah,
thing is big.
and then to see like in Lima too, like I saw a lot of people rapping on the streets, doing performances, and just trying to lift up their art,
To make it.
and
Yeah.
and I love it. What are you
And
seeing
that's the
now?
biggest thing is the love of it, man. The love of that music. And that is what, like, no language can stop that. Like, no language can keep people from what music makes them feel. And that's why it's just so powerful. It's that universal language. Like, as a musician, looking at the hunger that those guys have in Cartagena, that they'll walk up to you, rap, rap at you the whole time, not missing a beat, rapping in real time, showing you like their charisma, their fearlessness, just the bravery that it takes to follow your dreams, even when it seems almost hopeless in a situation where they don't have as many established opportunities like we do in the States or Canada or Europe or some of the other bigger music markets where you can make a real good living off of music if you make it. And the guys do that without knowing they have that, which shows that true, genuine love, that true, genuine passion that is still so much alive out here. Because I still feel like out here is a lot more real sentiments left. Even though they have their ways, and we can get in that later in the show, they have their ways and things you got to look out for. But I don't think their hearts turn cold as I feel like the American art and music has went into, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That
I get
that
you.
change.
I with the truth being said, I remember being in the States, and I went to a concert in Tennessee. And that concert, it featured an artist or artist group called Nova Lima. Nova Lima, I think is the name of the group. Lima, like the city Lima, Peru,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is where they were from. And they had a sound that like it was a little bit of like hip hop, a little bit of folk music, a little bit of Latin music. It was like so many different like genres mixed up in there, and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And of course, I started to follow them and listen to their music, and they were an Afro Latino band in Lima. And I said, boy, I can't wait to go to Lima one day and listen to this music. Like, I wonder if there's more artists like them. I wonder if there was more sounds like that I can experience. And and the idea of like traveling for music was, maybe it wasn't born in that moment, because I know I've always wanted to go to Cuba and Havana to enjoy the music there. But I think I became a little bit more serious about like going to a place and experiencing the music as part of a cultural, vacation. Right? I want to eat the food. I want to go to the museums, but I also want to experience the music. And Nova Lima was one of those first groups that sort of really connected a place with the sound, if that makes sense.
No, totally. Like, totally, man. When it comes to just historical precedent, a culture is defined by their art. Like, when a conquering nation comes into another nation, first thing they do is burn their books and destroy their art. So I completely understand you wanting to experiencing that cultural just shift by experiencing their music, because their music represents basically who they are as a culture, their flow, the way they say the words, the feeling that you get, the beats per second. It can get down to the nitty gritty. It's just that defines that culture. And it's beautiful when you can take all of that in and just see that your paradigm is not the only one. There's other completely different paradigms, and it's so beautiful to be able to know, like, okay, I can always experience different things in this world if I just take that chance and I do it. I try, and I take other people's cultures in and learn about them and grow and see that there's more than just what I know. So I completely get that, man. Beautiful. Where else
Yeah,
have
yeah.
you been that the music just defined them as like the country, the culture?
That was one of the things when I saw. I was like, wow, look at what they're doing here. Look at how there's so much similarities, and yet there's some unique differences that was special about these different places. And
Yeah,
to be honest, that's part of the reason why Musica Local exists, right? Is to highlight those
yeah.
differences and similarities, right? Because there's a lot of, for example, here in Cartagena, where we're broadcasting live from. And by the way, if you are watching and you like this kind of content, please subscribe, make a comment,
Subscribe,
like, so we could do
like the
more videos
video,
like this. But we're live in
like the video.
Cartagena, and
Yeah,
the the genre of champeta music, it originates from Africa, right? So the Latinos culture identified with this rhythm from Africa, reggaeton.
yeah,
Um, it's got the word reggae in it, right? And
yeah.
reggae might be associated with its origins, probably from Africa, but by way
Jamaica.
of the Caribbean, right?
Yeah,
And there's so many similarities and yet differences, and it's really great to see those like those mixes and the differences that and the outcomes from it.
That's the beautiful part about just this culture. If I was to give it from my perspective as an artist, like I get inspired by their different genres, their salsa, their chimpetas, their merengue, and I watch them and how they move to certain songs and certain lyrics and certain flows, and it makes me feel more connected to my roots of where the African beat driven music comes from, is alive and well out here. Because, in the States, we took more of a rhythmic, instrumental, digital instrumental, phase. They still have a lot of their natural sounds, even if it is an electronic reggaeton or a more urban pop, rap hip hop song. They still try to use their cultural instruments in their instrumentals and make it feel like a live African spiritual, ritual almost. You feel like you at one of those old time, you back in the old country, is a fire in the center, everybody's naked, and we dancing around the fire with this music. That's what it makes me feel like being down here and experiencing that ancestral, you know, African inspired reggaeton, champeta, and all these different things that branch from, the culture. And it's so crazy how different places still share similarities, still share struggles, still share thoughts of romance. Just the subject matter is still so relatable, even though it is in a Spanish and the dialects change. So I just think, man, this is one of the greatest places to come if you want to get inspired, like as an urban artist, no matter what type of urban, hip hop, rap, Canada, to blend the English and the Spanish, black, Negro, African, origin people blend it all together to make something else. The American sound with the South American sound,
Yeah, that's
because
beautiful.
there are Spanish and Hispanic people in the States still. So if you take something from their country, blend it in with something from what's hot in the States, you can make a whole new path for this growing mixed. If you look at the Nielsen report about, most of the people in 2050 in the US is going to be black or Hispanic, as any person, any business, the best thing you need to be doing is figuring out how to appeal to these cultures. And I think taking some artists and some hungry people from South America and working together with urban artists from the States, something crazy can come from that. And just what you're doing at Musica Local with laying the groundwork to connecting these artists to these different opportunities, I think is really going to be game changing. So that's why, you hear me talking on here real big, because I don't want nobody coming in later watching our live and stealing the whole sauce, just give them bones, you know what I'm saying? Pieces of the bone. Don't, we got to figure out how to not give them everything, but it is amazing what's happening down here, you know?
Yes, it is. And one of the adjustments that, of course, I had to make, and I'm assuming you had to make, was the language, right?
Yeah.
Um, Learning the language is critical for embracing any culture, I think. I don't think you could really integrate into a different culture without having some more than just a basic understanding
Yeah.
of the language, right? What was that experience like, and what's it like for you right now?
Well, Spanish has been easy and hard at the same time. It's easy as far as people are nice. If you try your best to communicate with a lot of people out here, they will try their best to understand you. But it becomes difficult where you try to get those deeper relationships. You see like how me and you can talk and we can go deep into context and nuances and historical precedences and analyzing and breaking stuff down. I can't do that in Spanish, man. So it's only a surface level of understanding I can get with a lot of people, business, romantic, um, even just official business like flying. I might misunderstand someone. In the beginning, it was even more rough as I started to go through my experiences and talking to different girls. One of my biggest helps is women. Gracias, mami, por todo, por todo. Uh, but later on, I started to understand that the Spanish is just like the States. Like you go to New York, they like, yo, son, yeah, it's on the Yankee fitted, son, yeah. They act like that. And then you got the Atlanta dialect, like, yeah, Shaw, yeah, young man, about to go to the creek trip right quick, bro. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You got the different dialects like that in Spanish, and that's a
Right.
learning curve. Like you think, oh yeah, I got out here, I learned my words, I know how to order something. You go to Peru, you saying Colombia, you saying costeño words. They like what? Huh? Like what? Okay? Because one of the nuances I noticed is when I first came here, women have this idiom after their sentence to make sure that you understand that a lot of women they use it in Colombia, but not as much as I've seen in Peru. They'll ask you a question like da 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 la verdad, like is that true? And I had
Okay.
to get used to that. Like, why you keep saying is that true? Oh, that's your confirmation word. All right, to
Okay.
confirm it if I understand. Like some people may be like me entiende, like do you understand me? But they just say la verdad. Like, did you understand? Did you get that? Or is this true? No? Like something like that. Those are the
You
things
know
that
what
I
I'm
learned
saying?
out here.
Know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
nah, I
that.
mean.
Know what
Yeah,
I
like,
mean?
nah, I mean. Nah, I mean, la verdad. La
Yeah.
verdad. I'm like, man, why you keep saying the truth? Why do you keep saying that? And I had to learn that, like, okay, that means nah, I mean. That's your nah, I mean. And
Yeah.
then girls might have something like a filler word, like a ver, or pues, or o sea, or how you say, like they have filler words, and that is the
Right.
interesting part about Spanish that I learned is like the different nuances. Different places have different stuff that they do like that. Like, Panama got theirs, Colombia got theirs, Peru has theirs. I'm sure Argentina, Chile, Brazil, all lovely places. Um, you know, they got their own different dialect, and that would be a learning curve for anyone traveling, doing business out here. Take time, learn the culture, learn what people talk like. Don't be afraid to just hold normal conversation. These people still walk by and say good morning, like the 1950s. Like when you go outside, your neighbors are going to speak. When you go on an elevator, they're going to look you dead in your eye and be like, hey, good morning. You feeling all right? You all right? You good today?
Yep. Yep.
Like it's beautiful. It puts you in that mindset. Like it's not what the news and the media always portray it to be, like poorer countries, like they don't have no class. It's dirt
They're
everywhere. It's
savages. Some
trash. They're
lies.
killing you. You know, it's gonna happen anywhere. You can go through those types of things, but as long as you are where you're supposed to be at and you're trying to be respectful, people out here are gonna show you love and help you with the language barrier thing, man. What
Yeah.
about you? What are some of your experiences first coming down here and establishing Musica Local? It's going to be a #1 channel in South America. You got to tell the people
Yeah.
more about what you building, man. They don't know the power yet. They're gonna see, but they need to know more of the superhero origin story for you, man.
Well, thanks. Well, my goal is really to help people connect with the culture through the music in Latin America. I've given a personal experience that I had, which was, like I mentioned earlier, I've always wanted to go to Cuba.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I wanted to go to Cuba, I don't drink rum. I got cigars from Cuba,
Yeah.
but I'm not a connoisseur. I never really was, but of course it doesn't make any sense to go to Cuba and not get a
And not
Cuban
get,
cigar,
yeah.
right? So,
Yeah, that's
or
the
the
only thing
rum.
they known for.
Exactly. But likewise, the music. There are talented musicians everywhere. It's impossible to go to any place of any kind of status and not experience live music in Cuba. Whether it's Havana, Cienfuegos, or the city of Trinidad. Like, music is a part of their culture. And I remember being there wanting to buy music from locals, wanting to find local musicians to buy their music. Now,
Like
I
their
could
CDs or
find,
something.
yeah, something. I wanted to get like
Yeah.
authentic cubic sound from the local, and I'm gonna tell you, it was the most difficult thing. Now, I could find cigars everywhere. I could find hats. I could find stuff made by artists, artwork, things made from wood, cigar humidors. I could find it everywhere. I could find the rum everywhere. But the music, something that they're known for, something that people have to experience when they're there. I did happen to buy a CD from the group Buena Vista Club, the Buena Vista Club. They're very popular.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm sure there's thousands of artists that aren't as
Yeah, they
popular but
untapped
are
potential,
good.
man.
But how do you find them? And that story, I believe, when I've talked to the different musicians that have come through Musica Local, they agree that story is repeated throughout Latin America, where you've got lots of artists with great
Lots of real
talent,
talent. Yeah.
and they have no real outlet.
Foundation.
Now,
Yeah, they ain't got nothing to show anybody.
but we're in 2022. We've got all these platforms. We've got all these different ways to distribute music, but yet there's still a disconnect. And I think part of that disconnect is because the culture's a little bit different. People do things a lot on a local level here. And I can give you an example.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I wanted to go to some place where, hey, do you know a good restaurant, or do you know a nice place to go get some kind of tourist attraction? And sometimes the local people will say something like, "Oh yeah, there's a place, go over here." This story exactly happened to me in this past week. I wanted to go to a nice restaurant. I didn't know much about the restaurants. Asked a guy at the hotel because we was in another city, and the guy at the hotel said, "Oh yeah, there's a nice restaurant. It's in this building. It's got 2 stories, and it's at the next corner. Go around there, and it's in front of the church." So the only thing I really know about the place is that it's in front of the church. If you can't find the church, you can't find the place, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you don't know the name, you don't know the address, he can't even tell me the street that it's on. He's just giving me some points of reference. And now that gets more complicated when it's a bigger space. In this case, it was easy. It was just 1 block over, 1 around the corner, and the church was big as all get up. It was hard to miss the church. But even still, I was a little confused about where the place was, right?
Yeah, like, hey, man.
But sometimes you get instructions like, oh, go to the corner, and it's in front of Senora Maria's house. Like, how am I supposed to know who's Senora Maria? And this is how like some
Everybody got a
instructions are
studio,
given
man. Yeah,
out,
dude.
right? And so how are you supposed to find a music artist when you can't even find a
Can't find a
restaurant or a
restaurant.
tourist
Yeah.
attraction because no one knows how to tell you how to get there? I talk to artists that have recordings, they've got them at home. You ask them if they got a CD or anything, and they're like, "No, I don't. No, I don't. I've got lots of songs. I just
Just a
haven't
bunch of
recorded them, or I
unfound
don't have them
potential.
distributed any place." And I think that's like a shame because there's a lot of talented people here with a great message and a great sound, and they just need an outlet, and they need someone to help them like navigate
Push it out.
this complicated technical world.
Man, and I think that's the biggest thing with the power that's going to be Musica Locale, because if you have a vehicle for people, like if we in the States had a vehicle, we have a lot of vehicles, but one that does truly want to help independent artists, I think the culture of being an independent artist and making a decent living would be more attractive. But you doing that in Latin America where there's already a financial need anyway. The thing you're doing it for, which seems to be the forgotten people out there, is the artists that choose to stick to the dream, stick to the vision of being an artist, and giving them tools that they can get their sound out there to this connected world. We have a globally connected world now. And as an artist, you really don't need that big piece of a pie to make a decent living, especially if you access online. And a vehicle like Musica Locale to do that for artists and connect them to this world stage by putting the technology in front of them and getting the access to monetize that and genuinely be able to express themselves in the artistic space as well as the business space, man, that's incredible. And that's something that maybe just from as an artist standpoint want to do the same thing as far as with my company, Style Brands, with building my music empire, a piece of it out here in Latin America, to have a label, to be the guy that can sign you and give you a budget and produce and present your art to the world where you can take care of your family and the world can hear your story, your side, your heart. You know, we all have a story that needs to be told, and that story could save someone else's life. Because when I was an artist and I didn't have much fans, I didn't know what I was doing this for at first, and I was just aiming at the win. I knew it was something in my heart, knew it was something I wanted to do, and I pursued it. And I started to gain that one person that came back and told me, "Your music helped me get through a really dark time. Like it really helped me. I was getting beated on. Um, I didn't have an escape. Um, and I used to listen to your music at night. It used to help me go to sleep and not be up with anxiety and panicking and stressing out about my situation." Bringing this back to the artists out in Latin America, they have these same relatable stories that could do that for someone else in their country, because these people have it hard, harder than we do at first world countries. And the art that can come from that is beautiful. And that's why nurturing it when it's kind of passed over, but they're growing, for us would be foolish, because they are going to grow and they are going to have their stories told. But what side of history are you going to be on? Are you going to be the ones that just let it come up and it's too big and now you can't even get a part of it? Or are you going to try to figure out how you can help them, because they're going to make it regardless? It's just someone needs to be there to give them that earlier access to making that change and making that shift, to being able to have their voices heard. And that's what I appreciate about your company, man, Musica Local, and giving me what I'm going to do with Style Brands in Latin America on my end, the artist label label end, looking for talent, looking for singers, songwriters, instrumental beat makers and music video, everything. We try to give people their outlet with the financial backing and the structure and systems in place that they can monetize their talent for real. You know, that's just what it's about, man. Helping other people, man, and helping yourself at the same time. The John Nash equilibrium, from A Beautiful Mind. I don't know if anybody remembers that movie or that book, but that's a formula where it was said the best results economically is when you do what is best for yourself and the group. Not just focusing on yourself. So, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I think this is just a bunch of untapped potential here and untapped talent. They just need people to shine a light on them so they can grow it and take it the rest of the way.
Now, you've got some new work. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about this video that I'm going to show a little bit of your talent.
Okay, man. Well, a little background, what we're gonna do this year. Um, we're gonna work closely with cities in Latin America, Cartagena, Medellin, Cali, Lima, Santiago, Chile, or Chile, if I was to put my Spanish accent on good. Um, and this video is a precursor to the content we're going to drop in promotion to doing shows. We're going to get back into live shows and live events, but I know that I have to give people something worth trying to come see. I have to build a good hype around it. I have to tell good stories that they can relate to. And we're going to do that with dropping content, working with the local people, getting into the details of this video. I had a local group called the Kingston Crew. It's a local dance group in Cartagena. I commissioned them to make a dance to a song that I have called Song of Solomon, which will be on a project that I will be releasing called Espera Vacio. Um, and I will also be dropping a project before that called Espera Fuego y Frio, um, which is just all music inspired by the Latin community, real stories, dating experiences with Latin American women, heartbreak, betrayal, even a little bit of magic. And this video is the precursor to all of that, which will be coming 2022 and 22 about 2025. So it's going to be about a 3-year campaign um, about this. We'll be looking for talent to sign, rappers, singers in Latin America exclusively first, so we can monetize their talent and help them get a different level of money as that they've probably never experienced. That's my goal, is to try to create other millionaires around me, and
Nice.
make one in every country. That's the goal, is to make a millionaire in every country and give people opportunities, minorities exclusively as well. Well, not exclusively. It's the focus is minorities because we don't get a lot of big shots anymore. Like we get token opportunities and but the culture is built around the urban and the minority, like everywhere. Urban is usually the most popular genre everywhere you go. That's what people party to. It's urban.
Right.
And I feel like it's time for us as urban artists is to really get paid, not look like we get paid with our teeth and our diamonds or whatever, but really be paid because these other people are really paid
Right.
and you don't know their name. You never heard of this guy. But the artist is 10 years down the line, don't have anything or be strung out or still have to tour. And they're in their golden years where they're about to settle out. They're in the last chapters of their life, and they still have to be on the road. I don't think that's right. So I want to be one of the first real black, you know urban owned labels to help other urban artists really prosper. So that is what this video is the start of, is that bigger movement. So it starts with this music, starts with me, because I'll put myself on the battlefield first, kill who I need to kill, and show that, the kingdom's real, and then bring everybody else along. So that's what this video represents, that long monologue. So you can really understand there's a plan behind it. There's a vision. And it's a
Well,
quote from Follow the Beat, don't follow them other boys without a plan. Because I really do have a plan.
well,
So
let's
that's
jump
that.
into it. And we're gonna show you your video here in a second. Here. All right, from Shadow, the ArchAngel.
Shadow. Yeah. I told you I feel butterflies when we together. We can just chill until we doze. Don't judge, not let she be judged. We can talk whatever. You don't have to sleep when you keep it closed. Just want you to feel better than the best mind. Don't activate all her love till it's the right time. To you, I'm my bright, then it is nighttime. Your satisfaction plus all the commitment. It goes romance revival. Give you a title. My wife, my lifeline, my help, my lifeline. You have a rival. Romance revival. Romance revival. Romance revival. I told you I feel butterfly. I told you I feel butterfly. I told you I feel butterflies. I told you I feel butterflies.
Oh wow,
¿Usted está buscando una opción para emigrar legalmente?
Yeah, man.
wow. Okay, we're coming back to you live in 2 seconds here. Okay, that's fabulous.
Yeah,
That
man. Appreciate that, man.
I think I recognize those streets. That looks like Cartagena, Colombia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mi casa. Uh-huh.
Such a beautiful
Yeah,
city,
man.
and
Beautiful city, man.
being
Beautiful
able
people.
to be here and record something like that. Um, how do you feel? And let me
To be
frame
honest
that.
with
Let me frame that. How do you feel knowing where you were 24 months ago?
man, I'll say it like this. First and foremost, man, I gotta say online, let it be known, profess, not perfect, but all glory be unto Jesus Christ, who is my Lord and Savior. I'm grateful that I was able to go from working in warehouses and slaving away for someone else to slaving away for Star Brands myself, still tired, still working 11, 12-hour days, but to be able to help someone else make money and feed their family from their passion, which was John Keita. That's one of the lead choreographers in that video. John Keita. Um, he needed money for his family, but all his work was dancing. Pandemic, for all artists, shows shut down. He couldn't be
Right.
a backup dancer anymore. He couldn't dance on these stages anymore. So it was hard to feed his family. And any man watching this, anybody that's a man and you have a family, you understand the pain, the shame, and the heartbreak that it feels like as a man when you do not have what it takes to pay the bills and feed your family. So for me to commission that video and for him to put it together with all of his crew that he usually can pay comfortably when he has his shows and when he has these live events going on, and that wasn't happening. It was great to see him be able to assemble his team again with that. He did a great job promoting the song, which was a song about reviving romance and reviving, that love again, that agape love again in us as humanity. You don't got to be a simp, but to have, genuine, authentic love again in your heart. they really brung that song to life with that choreography and the dance. You know, it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful to see them
Right.
take it from a skeleton and make it bigger when they've been hungry for an opportunity like that. And to be able to give that and to be in position to give that from where I was is absolutely a blessing. It's absolutely a movement of God. And I know that it would not have happened through anything else but the grace of God, for me to even have the finances to do that, making a big move from everything I got is in the
Right.
States to everything I got is in Latin America. Um, you know, I know it was something divine, so I know it was spiritual. So it was a spiritual experience, man. I love it. It was beautiful. These guys were great, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more with people out here.
Great, great.
Man, what about you, man? And your filming experiences out here with the rappers and other artists out here, man. I know you have a lot of great stories to tell about that.
Every week is an opportunity for us to meet and work with different artists. And
Yeah,
I've heard stories, I've gotten a chance to personally work on projects and see some of the struggles and see the successes of the different artists that we've come across and since we've been doing this. And I feel like I have a direction. I know where we're going. There's a question of how we're going to do a lot of the things that I have goals for because no one's doing exactly what we're doing here.
yeah,
But one of
it's
the things
new.
that continues to encourage me is when I see the artists excited about what we're doing and working with us, right? Because they know that there's something in it for them that they want and appreciate, and they see that what I'm doing is in their best interest, right? And they're encouraging. It's also like important to see like the people who aren't necessarily the music artists, but the engineers, the composers, the writers that we've encountered, also like liking what we're doing and seeing
Yeah,
value in. So that's encouraging. It's very encouraging. And this is hard stuff because there's no, at this point, we don't have the sponsors yet that really helps with the production. We've got wardrobe, we've got cameras and lights and a lot of overhead to produce good quality content. And we're still, catching up every day with maybe some bigger production houses and record labels. But knowing that people see what we're doing, and I guess one of the first things that let me know that we was doing something good is when I
yeah.
started getting hate. When I started getting hate
Oh man,
from
you ain't got no haters.
local
You ain't popping, boy.
when
Yeah.
it started getting some hate from producers who saw a threat
Oh
and maybe
man.
what we were doing. That's when I was like, oh, we're stepping on some
Oh.
toes here. People are a little afraid.
Oh.
Okay,
You want to
all
fight
right.
me, dog? Okay.
So
Oh God.
I'm having fun. I'm having fun. I'm
Hey
having
man,
fun
that's what it's
reaching these
about, man.
people and being a former music artist myself,
Yeah.
as and having the love for creating music specifically is something that hasn't gone away from me, and so when I see people putting their heart and into something that they want to create and share. I know what that feels like because I remember writing working with people to get a demo made and I'm talking
Yeah.
about back in the days of cassette decks, right? And DATs, like working to get something made was 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 a lot of energy. And in some ways, with all the technology advances, people are still struggling to make their art. And when I see people succeed, it's like I want to help. I want to do something, and especially if they got a talent, a sound that's like unique. I just I love being able to support. We have one musician who's been working with us. She's been in many of our interviews. We was in a documentary that we did about a town called Palenque. Palenque is the
Hmm.
first freed town for former African slaves, and they still have a lot
Yes,
of their
sir.
culture. They have their music. They have their traditions, and of course, there's a lot to be heard about what is in their music and how they make their instruments. And so we did a documentary. Please check it out. It's on Musica Local. Whether you're looking at us on Facebook or on YouTube, we have that episode. It's very interesting. It's in English. It's in Spanish and translated into English. But we
Yeah, I'll
had an
go check that
opportunity.
video out.
Please, thank you. We had to work an opportunity to work with an artist. Her name is Taipan. That's her artistic name,
Yeah, Taipan is
and
hard. Yeah, yeah, Taipan hard.
she and I worked together to produce a song about the city, and we put this together in less than a week. We made the song. We got the music produced. We got the video shot. We got the video edited. I mean, we did this like so quick, and she's so talented. Well, now she's got a record deal with a company out of Medellin, and I'm happy to
Hard.
see her increase, and and I can't wait till we working with more artists and see them grow, whether it's through a label other than people I'm connected with or with the people I am. I just want to see the success of people who are really working hard for something like that.
Man, that's hard, man. People getting signed already. That's what it's
Yep.
about, making real changes. Making
Yeah.
real changes. Yeah.
Hey,
Like the
even
video.
even if I didn't
Share.
do anything else, like just knowing that I helped one person with one little bit of something is like a reward for me.
Paid it forward. You paid it forward, man.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
So you talked about your experiences in Cartagena. We could talk about Cartagena all day. There's a
Man,
lot about
all day
Cartagena.
long.
But what was it like for you in the Dominican Republic, from a music perspective?
From a music perspective, I want to be very political here because I wanna do shows out there. I love the Dominican Republic. I love the people, but it was a little difficult. It was a little bit more difficult than everywhere else to get um, the same benefits that if you're a gringo, if you're a foreigner, that you look for when you go to other countries besides the United States. Because if I wanted the higher end quality, I could just go to Glenn Schick, and pay him $1,700 for a master, not
Right.
even mixing, just mastering. I can do that. So Dominican Republic was very expensive, rivaling American prices to where it's like, what would incentivize me to leave my country and to come here and to bring music work, production work? Like, you got to look at where this can grow. And I'm going to get back to just the matter at hand, the producing music in Dominican Republic. But I want to go off into this tangent to illustrate, the benefits of why you would do this critique that I'm about to suggest.
Okay.
$1 million companies and $1 million budgets go to different cities when they incentivize you producing in their city. Like when you go to Georgia to do a movie, they have a Georgia tax incentive that
Right.
incentivize production companies to bring their production and their crew and their employees and their resources and go to Georgia. You get tax write off for buying local products and local food and local everything. It's the same business model if you want to start bringing the entertainment industry more into these Latin American countries, which is a billion dollar business that you would want some of that revenue coming into your cities and generating in your towns.
Right.
They don't give offer you cheaper production, cheaper prices for photo shoots, cheaper prices for videos, cheaper prices for anything really in the Dominican Republic. Like even if
Wow.
you want to go on a date, the girls is coming at you like, "Hey baby, you got $200 to even go on a date? You got $200? That's all you
What?
really want is sex. It's $200." I'm like, I just want to go out and know your name and talk to you like a normal person. Nah, that's still like $100, baby. You got 100. You got 100. I go out with you and just we'll talk and see what happens. Really coming at you like that, and
Wow.
that's all not good from the women, from the production of music, from photo shoot prices. Just they need to be more competitive. If I was to say it in the nicest way, with their pricing of things. And I get that it's an island and some things are going to be more expensive innately,
That's the
but
island
services,
tax.
yeah, but services like photo shoots, videos, studio time, even though I know they probably do get their big companies that may come and shoot something out there or do a little ad out there, but how often is that happening? You can get a
Right.
lot more of that independent money if you have those competitive prices that Colombia has, Peru has as well. Haven't been to Argentina, haven't been to Chile. So from these other production places where you can produce music videos at a cheaper price, which is the whole competitive reason why you as an American would want to do this. Dominican Republic doesn't have that.
Right.
But the women are absolutely gorgeous and the food is excellent. So
Okay.
that's what
Okay.
I got to say about Dominican Republic. Yeah,
Well, hey,
man.
I haven't spent too much time in Spanish-speaking islands, um,
Yeah.
but the mainland in South America and Central America, I've been to several, and certainly, I guess one of my concerns would be the island tax when I go to a certain place, right? Cuba, I found that to be more expensive than I really thought for the kind of country it was, right? Oh my God, some places were very like expensive compared
Dar.
to their Latin American mainland counterparts, right?
Dar.
Mexico is like you could go out, have a great time, and not even break $50, right? Depending on how much you drink or how hard you party. But $50 in some places in Cuba, oh my gosh, you
Going a
better
long way.
uh, you better make sure you brought all your dollars into the country when you got there and exchanged them to the right currency because you're going to run out of money
Right.
real quickly if you're not paying attention. Um, but any case, that's
That's
one of
not
the reasons
good.
why I really like South America and Central America because things just is easier. Like that imports,
Man.
exports, locally produced stuff is very economical, and I guess that sort of segues into sort of the life and living
Yeah.
in Latin America, right? I know the cost of living, the quality of life, and in general, um, the socialness of the people is some of the main reasons why I find myself here. I know that everybody can't do what I'm doing, right? Everyone
Yeah.
can't
Everybody's not built like
pick
that,
up and move and relocate themselves. But for those of us
especially
who
to something like
can
this.
or aspire to, there's a lot of benefits. It's hard. Again, it's hard because you have to really change your mind. You have to change. You have to open yourself up to whole new experiences. You have to be very flexible. Uh, for example, I moved. I'm originally from New York City. After being in New York City for up until my early 20s, I got to a point where I realized, you know what, I'm working really hard for not a whole lot, and if I move someplace else, maybe life would be a little bit easier, or maybe my quality of life would improve just by moving. And I moved to Orlando, Florida. And on Orlando, I went through culture shock, temperature shock, financial shock because I didn't make nowhere near the kind of money I thought I was going to make when I got down there. But I
Man,
certainly got a higher
that'd be the
quality of
terror right
life.
there.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah,
higher quality of life with less money, and I remember in those first like years thinking, oh well, they don't do it like this in New York. They don't do it like this in New York, and I had to remember, I'm not in New York. This is Florida. I gotta adjust. And I guess because I did that earlier on in my life in my 20s, that I went through and moved to another place, and the idea of change wasn't foreign to me anymore, right? Like, okay, when Florida didn't work, let's move to Atlanta, right?
yeah. Let's go. Yeah,
And then okay, when the U.S. didn't work, hey, you know what? How's Mexico looking? How's Belize looking?
yeah. Let's play
how's
around. Yeah,
Colombia? So being open to change was an important thing. But in that change, what I gained is immeasurable because there's just things that I do here. I can show you can relate. There's things that I do and experience here that I just wouldn't be able to
nah. Yeah,
if I
it's
was
not
back
possible.
in my old world. And
Man,
so
back
it's
in the
those
states, man. Nah.
benefits
Yeah,
in the states. I'm sure you got those differences, right? And
yeah.
my other friends that are foreigners have those experiences where it's like it's a whole nother world if you have the ability to pick up and move, or at least go back and forth, which is how I started. I mean, 6 months, 1 month here, 1 month there, 1 month here. So there's a lot to be experienced, and I really appreciate the Central and South American countries. I know brothers are going other places, and I know, like for example, you've thought about going other places as well. Like you had
Yeah, yeah,
some ideas of Asia.
yeah. I was thinking like Korea, like it's just has like a same cost of living like Colombia. Um, like just going into detail of what my boy Preston was talking about with the just the culture in Colombia before I talk about South America and why I would go over there. Colombia has some of the best like cost of living things, producing things, and the quality is honestly really good. And you would be crazy to get something at a lower quality, which most Western and European countries they don't really have as high quality as these people. It's about equal, but they will charge you 10 times the price because of their living standards. So it's just like looking at that comparison, it lets me know, okay, I can get more done here. And that is what the game is about. It's about saving more than you spend. That's any business, any living, any comfortability. Save more money or make more money than what you spend. And Colombia is one of the best places. I feel like you can maximize that. I feel like you can maximize that in Lima, but Lima does not have too many programs where you can stay permanently. You either got
Right.
to get married or be from one of the one of their allied country territories. Um, Bringing it all to Asia, South Korea, I was looking at has one of the best programs if you are independent artist, independent entrepreneur, you make your money online. They actually have a program in South Korea where if you're trying to find work or be a professional, they have a 1 year or a couple year visa for that. And the pricing for rent is cheap, like $400-500 for a 1 bedroom. Which if you're just trying to make your money, that's all you really need. And if you making money online, you're good. Like I got 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms where I'm at now. I really don't need it because it's just me. It just look good. It just when people come over, they're like, yeah, yeah, and then they, take they
You
what's the
living it
names
up.
off. No, no, no comment, but yeah, it just looks nice. But
A little bit about the cost of living and saving out there. So
That's nice. That's nice. I know that I, it's hard. I mean, let's dig into that a little bit. I sometimes
yeah,
I skate around that a bit, talking to people. Um, it's incredibly affordable if you've got some source of dollars coming in.
yeah,
It's incredibly affordable compared to most places in the United States to live in Latin America. Okay, first off, let's cut out the islands. The islands, most of the islands, you're going to pay what is commonly
stupid
referred to
money,
as the island
stupid
tax,
prices.
right? And the island tax is essentially you're going to pay more because on the island they don't produce anything except for maybe fruits and coconuts, right, and vegetables.
Yeah,
And so anything that literally comes out of a factory has to come on a shipping container and get dropped off at a port. And that factory was on the other side of the world and the other side of the Panama Canal, it's going to cost even more because you have to pay fees to bring it from the Pacific over to the Caribbean side, where now it has to stop off at your little island. And your little island doesn't make too much, so there's usually a trade deficit because you're consuming more than you're selling. And so the locals have to pay more for gasoline, they have to pay more for electronics, they have to pay more for the things that we consume and use on a regular basis. And so that's where I just never really thought too much about islands because it's just, you're not going to, it's going to be beautiful. You're going to have palm trees and white beaches, but you're going to pay. And because you're a foreigner, you're also going to probably get the gringo tax, right? Because, oh, you're a foreigner, you should pay more than me, so you're going to get double tax, right? These aren't
for real.
official
Yeah, they're gonna
taxes.
charge you. In Atlanta, it's called a F IGA fee, an F IGA fee. So that is what essentially happens to you in Latin America. You get an F IGA fee because you're not from here. You got American dollars. We know you getting over. Pay more money, and you
Right.
gotta you gotta you gotta kind of put yours in your hand and be like, look, big dog, I'm doing you a favor by coming to you with the bread. I could really just save it and live comfortable. So
Right,
work with
right.
me too. You know what I'm saying? We can
So
help
you
each
got
other.
that fee, you got that added thing that you got to worry about, and you got the island effect, right? The island tax, right? So now if you
Yeah,
just
because they
go
can't do
shift
nothing.
your mind to like a mainland country, Mexico, Guatemala, Panama, Nicaragua, right? These are just a few countries in Central America. You'll find that things, well, except, well, okay, I left out Costa Rica, and I really a little bit iffy about Panama, but most of the other places I just mentioned is very affordable if you've got U.S. dollars. Costa Rica being very expensive, almost New York, first world kind of expensive, depending on the quality of
Gosh.
life you want to have, right? So, and Panama can be like that too. It's almost like being in Florida, and it's like, but you don't have as much of the goods and services that you would have if you was actually in Florida. So you start to lose some of the benefit of a financial aspect in a place like Panama where they use U.S. dollars, for example. So, so when you get south of that, the savings is even greater, right? Mexico's pretty
Even
cheap,
more.
but Colombia, Peru, parts of Chile, parts of Uruguay. I can't speak too much about Bolivia because I didn't even think about Bolivia or Brazil too much. And Argentina, it's for reasons I don't like Argentina even for considering, but Colombia,
Yeah,
Peru, where you are,
yeah,
these are
Peru
some
is
places
love.
that are very affordable because they produced a lot of their own stuff. They have trade locally. So, for example, if I know here in Colombia, they produce electronics, they produce housewares, washing machines, refrigerators, all kinds of appliances. They produce motorcycles. They produce clothing. Like there's factories for just so much of what the people consume. And if they don't produce it here, they may produce it in Brazil, or they might produce it in Peru or Ecuador, and it ain't that hard to import it over here. It doesn't need to have to come on a container ship from China. It doesn't have to come, and especially Colombia. Colombia has ports on the Pacific and in the Caribbean. So if they want to trade with the U.S. and Europe, okay, it doesn't have to pass through the Panama Canal. Or if they want to trade with Asia, it can come through the Pacific South. It doesn't need to pass through the Panama Canal, and therefore imports are cheaper. And therefore they can also export a little bit cheaper as well from those two ports. So Colombia's got a very great strategic location, and they produce a lot. It's a country rich in resources, and it's right next door to the country with the most oil on the planet, or at least the most accessible oil, Venezuela. So there's a lot of great things about being here from an economic standpoint. And then when you add in the climate, you add in the quality of food, the people. I love the people here.
Yeah,
Everywhere
yeah.
I go, they're friendly. I might be messing up their language, but they're really great about helping me, correct my mistakes and helping me adjust to the culture. So the cost of living, the people, the atmosphere, the climate, just so many wonderful things that if you've got dollars, you could live like you would never imagine.
Yeah,
So
you can live good,
that's the
good.
number one reason why I'm here.
And man, that is the most important thing, man, is being able to generate those dollars because they are somewhat ruthless where you don't have anything to bring to the table. It's not going to be too many support systems. That would be the only thing I see is like the thing you would have to be wary about is your pipeline of money. Like, where are your dollars coming from? Do you have enough to cushion yourself out here? Because there are not a lot of outlets that you, as a foreigner, are going to be able to take advantage of if you run into an emergency. So it is super important that you protect and you secure your cost of living while you're out here. You make sure you have more than what you need stashed away in different places, different abilities. So if you do need to touch something, you can, for the lack of a better word, pay to get out of some situations that you don't want to be in. Don't want to use a B word because that would make it conspicuous. But you make sure that you're good. And that's something that me and you, as friends, we've seen guys, mainly guys. I don't know too many stories about girls, but they come down to Colombia, they meet a girl, and the girl finesses them, and they
Right.
have no money in a foreign country, and they're stuck, and they're crying at a drugstore, saying they're stupid. So
You're talking
yeah,
about the story I told
yeah,
you. I told
yeah.
you about.
We're talking
Yes.
about that. Yeah, yeah.
No.
We need to let
Yes.
them know too, like this beautiful,
Yes.
but be
Yes.
careful.
Yes.
But
Homeboy was just breaking down and having a mental breakdown because he was taken advantage of, and he found himself doing some things that was very not wise,
not
and
wise.
putting himself in a position where he was very vulnerable. So that goes back to the beginning when I said this lifestyle is not for everybody, right? You have to have a sense of adventure, a sense of independence, a sense of, I'll make it, right, no matter what.
Yeah.
And you got to have some street smarts, right? Because you could be taken advantage of in your home country, but in your home country you speak the language and you know the
Yeah.
native, ins and outs of things. But when you don't know the new culture when you're in and you're exploring and you're looking at everything with rose-colored
Color
lenses,
glasses. Yeah.
everything might seem wonderful, and in the meanwhile, there's people looking to take advantage of you, and you just need to be wise about that. But if you've got those street smarts and you've got that independence, it really doesn't take much to live very well here. Like
No.
you
No.
just talked about saving and reserving. I know of people here that earn a Social Security living, Social Security check living, and live good. I know people who have intermittent income, people who might make a big sale, get a big check, and may not get anything for 6 months, and they're able to budget and live down here, and live pretty well, because I mean, depending on how you want to live, if you want to live in a touristy area in a high-rise building with I don't know, a maid and 3 bedrooms and a balcony or something like that, you might have a lifestyle that might cost you $2,000, $3,000 a month. That in and of itself might be a discount from where you're living if you're in New York or Florida. I mean,
For sure.
Miami or
For
LA,
sure.
right? It's like, what? Yeah, I can have all of that for less than 10 grand. Yeah, yeah, you can. You can have that, and really, you could do all that probably on 2 grand, right? But if you are, I don't know, I'm trying to think of in Mississippi or Alabama, where the average household income might be in the 40, 50,000 range. Having a lifestyle where your basic expenses are costing you $2,400 a month, might be on par with a nice lifestyle in Latin America. So you might be spending about the same amount of money, but you'll have a much higher quality of life living in Latin America on under 50,000 a year.
Yeah, living
Under
great.
under 20,000 a year, right? You could probably find that you have an improved quality of life in Latin America, depending on the country.
Nah, you're right for sure. You're right for sure, man. Because to put it in perspective, and I don't mind if other people see this and rappers with your $2 million. I'm not signed. I don't have $2 million. But when I used to make I think my last payments was like $65,000 collectively last year. Struggling, struggling in the U.S.
Right,
Still trying to
right.
do
In the
my
U.S.
shows, still trying to promote, still putting money into advertisement, but I didn't have no real way to like really save in the U.S. because everything's so expensive. Like rent's $1,500, child care, food, health care. You get sick, medicine's $500.
Gasoline.
So much factors that keep you from ever truly living. Like I gotta work, I gotta work, I gotta work, and you're clearing 50,000, 40,000, which is the average for a lot of people, and you're struggling. And coming down here making a little bit more than that, but living this lifestyle, complete paradigm shift. I have
Right.
more comfort, more peace of mind, more investment capabilities, more opportunities that I was able to take advantage of because I had the capital to actually do something. Um, and that all comes from understanding and strategically planning, like how are you going to live out here, what you're going to be spending your money on, try to stay away from the girls out here, man. They're beautiful, but it's just another
Get
bill.
caught up.
Yeah, you get caught up, and um, I really want to be political, but I got stories for y'all, man. But um, it gets deep, man. So be careful. And once you can see that shift from stress, struggle, I'm making a gang load of money, but it doesn't mean nothing because the cost is equal to if I was making 20,000,
Right.
as compared to the cost is 10,000, 20,000 for the year, and you've cleared 100 grand. Now you can invest $80,000 and you
Right.
can manage it. You can get your life back on track. You can pay your debts down. You can pay credit cards off. You can pay other things off that you may have outstanding because you can actually breathe now.
Right.
And
Right.
you don't feel the pressures of the rat race. Like, I have to compete with this guy to get somebody to love me. Like in America, like you got to be a 6-figure dude to get a competent mate out there. And that's 15% of the population, not just male and female, black, white, just 15% of everybody. Total 100 grand or more. So you as a guy, as a man, you really can't even fully be in your masculinity in a place like that because you're always struggling. You're never feeling like a provider or protector. You feel like a slave trying to survive, and hopefully your woman can deal with your slave lifestyle. Like for real, man.
When
We
social
dedicate
media
so many
is
hours.
pushing her to feel that she's with a loser because you're not driving, matching, Maybachs.
Maybachs and Lamborghinis. You don't have a Bugatti. Like, you
Something's
don't
wrong
have
with
a
y'all.
bust down, like
Right.
you don't have to do that out here. It's still a level of greed, of course. We're humans. But the level of
Everybody
greed,
wants more or to do better than
what they're doing,
comparatively. Yeah,
which some guys criticize it and be like, well, it's easy to get a bunch of girls and let's throw it out there. They call it a third world country. So you feel like that until you actually come down here and you realize you really gotta have game. You really gotta have
If
something
you really trying to find someone who's real
real.
and committed, who's going to be on your program, it still requires work and energy, and it isn't just
You gotta
about
put
being
something in to
rich,
do
right?
it.
You gotta be putting in the effort. You gotta have game. You gotta have charm. Yeah,
Gotta
money
have all of
helps,
that,
but it
man.
ain't just about money. It ain't just about money.
Yeah. But that's the beautiful thing is like your barriers to entry are significantly lower. And some people criticize that like, oh, it's easy. But why don't a lot more people do it? You criticize it because it's something that everyone does. Businesses do this, outsource. Like this has been a business practice for a long time to outsource other opportunities that may be able to help you still produce and generate and save more money.
Right.
It's the same concept with being an expat, living abroad. It's not easy.
Exactly.
It's not easy button dating, business relationship, nothing. It's still you still got to put in the work. You still got to have game. You still got to have street smarts. You still got to be intelligent about what you're doing, and you still got to have intentions because we see so many people come to the city and get dealt with. They get scammed. They get finessed. They get drugged. They get beat up top of the head and
Straight up
thrown in the
robbed.
river. Yeah.
Two beautiful girls want to go back to the hotel room with you. It's
Don't do
2
that.
a.m. You're a little tipsy, and you out here by yourself. Guess what?
Thinking it's sweet.
You about to be waking up broke.
You're about to be big number 37 and 1, bro. Dude, don't come out here thinking it's easy. Don't come out here thinking just because it's a quote unquote third world country, you're going to be able to leave with your wallet and get everything in the world. Some girls, if they don't respect you as a person, as a man, they are going to rob you like a dweeb.
Right.
Like a dweeb, bruh.
But
So
you know
don't
what?
come out here being a dweeb. Oh,
There are some YouTube channels where there are, these red pill, content creators, and they talk about some of this a little bit, where guys are going to different countries and stuff like that, and there is something to be concerned about. Right, there's definitely something to be concerned about, and I think we talked
of
about a
course.
little bit of that. You have to have street smarts. You have to be the kind of person that is a little aware, you have situational awareness, someone who get has independent kind of sense of yourself, and at the same time adventurous, right?
Yeah.
But if you can be taken advantage of anywhere, right? Like, it doesn't
Anywhere
have
in
to
this
be
world.
in Latin America. I think what happens though is that guys get all caught up with how beautiful and feminine the women are here, especially when you
Yeah.
compare them to what might be in their dating pool back where they're from, in the States or Canada or in the UK, right? They may get, oh my God, I never met someone who's quite like this before. And you know what? I met a dude. We were talking in the city center last week. A foreigner. We were we're talking. He's, oh, you speak English? Yeah, yeah. And I was telling him about some things, and he told me about a girl that he met online before he came down. He went to Medellin with her, and then what ended up happening was he decided to come to Cartagena for a short couple of days with her, and he started telling me, though, oh, before I came down, I sent her some money for like a spa day, and it was $120. It was only
Oh
$120.
man. Yeah,
Now
that's not
I
that
was
bad,
like, but wait a second. Yeah, it's not that
but for
bad,
here,
but he
but for
doesn't
here,
know the
it's not
local
it.
price. Like $120, you could bring your whole posse of girls, friends, to the spa for the day, right? Right, but for him it was only $120. For her, that was probably the month's rent, right, or her part of rent with her roommates, right? And he just didn't. He later he realized, yeah, I think it was probably a little bit too much money, and she's, next time it might be $200 for something, or 300 something dollars, but he's caught up in, she's pretty, she's very nice, and he has somebody to come and connect with once he got down here, and I think guys get caught up with that because they just get all envisioned, oh my God, look at these pictures, dudes. Don't get all caught up. Don't get all caught up. You need to focus on being the best guy you can be, and you coming down and meeting someone isn't as hard as it might be in the States, and it's even easier when you're the best representation of yourself, when you put in the work in yourself. The
Facts.
rest will come. The rest will come. But when you're talking about these red pill content creators, right? They can paint this side of Latin America where it is about the women, right?
Yeah.
And that exists, but more importantly, I want to maybe balance that out and say it's more about you, right? It's more about you, and because you're going to be the same simp here if you're a simp in the states, right?
It's,
Right? Right?
you
Like,
gonna be
so
the
so
same simp, dude. It don't
you're saying
it don't leave you because you left. You still a simp. If you a simp hit over there, you gonna be a simp here and you gonna get got. You
you're
gonna be
gonna
looking
get got.
stupid.
So, you got to be, you really got to step up, who you are, right? And it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, right? So you got to be the best. Focus on being the best you can be, and it just happens to be that you'll have a better chance, in my opinion, of meeting a feminine, beautiful, agreeable woman here in Latin America, with you being the best you can be, right? If you're still a simp, you'll meet a beautiful feminine woman. She's agreeable of taking your money.
Taking your money. Tu
but
plata. Tu plata. Ay.
but still, if you got to be the best you could be, right? And so don't think that just being in a different place you're just gonna automatically make you a different person. You got to work on that regardless. But now, if you putting in the work and you building yourself, and you happen to be someone who can make money overseas, well, darn it, this is a great place to be, right? And that, so in this segment, I wanted us to talk about like the music and the culture and the life. There were some other invites that I sent out to, maybe to get some other perspectives on today's, conversation. Um, but the life part, right, comes from this personal perspective that I know that I was experiencing before you came down, and you're doing some things that I haven't done. You've been some places, and I certainly commend you for taking the initiative, because we talked about this before you came, and then you started putting in the work, right? You started putting in the work to actually make these changes in your life. I commend you
Amen.
because I know people. I've talked to lots of people. There's some people, close to me, some people who are associates to me who like see what we're doing or hear of people who are doing what we're doing, living abroad, living in these beautiful places. I mean, doing incredible things, and yet they're stuck. They're stuck because they can't wrap their mind around how to get out of the situations that they're in. And in some cases, they got everything they need to do it, but just can't, because their mind won't let them see that there's another, or that they can actually do it, right? Because they see us doing it. They see me, you, and others like us doing this, and they're like, well, maybe one day.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
when
one
I,
day I might be
when,
able to,
uh,
but
but they
that's
got,
the
in some
biggest
cases, they
thing is
got
to
it.
stop procrastinating it. Stop not trying to do it by giving yourself excuses of I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it then, or I need this, I need that, I need this, and I need that. Man, to give y'all a bit of small testimony of me just talking to Preston here and us developing what we want to do and actually starting to do it, like it changed my life radically, but I didn't procrastinate. I came out here with like $900, credit cards almost maxed out, all types of stuff going on. Took a loan, all types of crazy stuff, because I wanted a shift. I wanted a change. I knew something was wrong when I'm making 60 some odd $1,000 a year, and I feel like a bum. I felt like a bum. I felt like I wasn't getting nothing done. And that shouldn't be like that. All this, everybody has 100,000 with a bust down. That's not real. Statistically, that's not real. So I know how hard it is realistically to break out of that rat race of suffering and pain and repetitiveness that doesn't fulfill you. And that's the biggest thing, where if you procrastinate, that's what your life is going to become. It's going to become you as a person in the final chapters of your life looking back like, damn, why did I not just go on that trip? Why did I not just try for a year to do this? Why didn't I open this business? Why? You will be filled with that much more regrets on your deathbed compared to guys like me and guys like Preston that actually do it, not to brag or boast on us, but to say that there is an example of a realistic possibility that you can do these things for yourself. And then at your deathbed, your legacy, you realize I did everything I possibly could. I adventured. I went to other countries. I tried to talk to other people. That even if you didn't reach the pinnacle of whatever success that you defined for yourself, you did the thing you sought out to do.
Right,
And
right.
that's the biggest regret that everyone has when it's the final chapter, is I should have did a little bit more. And this experience here, just even if it's this year, not to speak it like that, it's what it's going to be. But if it was, I can go out knowing that I did everything as a man, as a dreamer, as a believer, to act on my faith that was given to me by Jesus and renewing me and actually doing something and watching him make it real. and watching the work that I plant as a seed become budding fruits. And all glory be to God for that. But you can't procrastinate. You can't. You're going to regret it. You're going to be sad about it. And don't look at other people to hate on them or to think that they're being arrogant or narcissistic because they could just live their quiet lives. Like me and Preston could just live our quiet, amazing lives with decadence of food, women, musical experiences, cheap living, but great services. We could just keep that to ourselves and just live that life.
Right.
But we're trying to show it to you all, not to brag, boast, or arrogant or narcissism, but to say that there is another way if you are willing to explore other options.
There are people that I know that are day to day going to a job that they do not like. Forget love, just do not like. They go home to an existence that is less than fulfilling, and yet still struggle month in and month out to make ends meet, much less um, thrive, right?
Yeah,
And people, in many cases, get used to that and become complacent. They're
facts.
afraid of change. They're afraid of the unknown, but yet make claims and goals for something that they want one day, but never take any actions to actually do it. Now, for some people, I think that lack of action comes from lack of knowledge. Like, I don't know where to
Facts.
start. I don't know
Yeah,
where.
I don't even know where to go. Yeah,
How am I going to do this, right? But in this day of technology and websites and YouTube and Facebook, like it's real easy to sort of like if you don't know how to do it, maybe look at somebody else who is doing it or doing a part of what you're doing and get some inspiration and some idea and maybe even some direction. Like and so for those people who might be seeing what I'm doing, I'm gonna talk about me personally. Like people who might I might come in contact with and see what I'm doing. You know, I love sharing. I love telling them. You know, not because again, like I want to boast and say, oh look at what I'm doing. I know there's some people. I got those
they're going to take it
haters.
like that regardless. Yeah,
Yeah, I got those haters that's like, oh, well, you can't do that, or I can't do that, so you shouldn't be able to either, right? But for those people who are just like they don't know because they don't know anyone like us, I love sharing that because it's like, hey, did you know there's another way? You don't
yeah.
have to keep
There is
doing it the
another
way that you've been doing it.
possibility.
You don't have to. And just think about, like you said earlier, about companies outsourcing, right? Outsourcing was birthed from the idea of, wait a second, we could get a product or service from a region that costs less to produce this product or service, and we can benefit from this other market where we can resell those services or products and make a profit and improve our standard of living. That's outsourcing. Well, we're doing the same
Facts.
thing in a different way because we're okay, we're making money from a different market, or maybe even in a market where we're at, but taking advantage of the lower cost of living, the lower cost of services, the higher quality of living, and appreciating that with the money that we generate from, not a typical resource for the locals, and that affords us an advantage. The same way a company outsourcing a process or a product benefits from the lower cost. It's the same concept, just
Yeah,
flipped
same
over.
deal. Same deal. It's just
And
with
so
your personal life.
if you
Yeah.
can do it, like you win big, right? If you could outsource making cars in Mexico and then bringing them to the United States and selling them for, you know, while the typical Mexican worker might make, you know, 1/5 of the
Of
U.S.
that,
worker,
yeah. And you
right?
doubling that,
But
you
you're
actually
selling the car
helping.
for the same price as if you made it in, made it completely in the United States. Well, I'm making dollars in the United States, but I'm living at 1/5 of the cost that it would cost me, or in some cases less. Well, okay, I can get the benefit of that quality, that boost in quality of life, and do more. And I think that's where we talked about a little bit further earlier when you were talking about being able to employ people, right? Like,
Yeah,
we here at in the studio we have a staff. We employ developers. We employ people to work in the studio. We employ models. We employ musicians. We have lawyers. We have accountants. All being paid because the vision for my company here has been able to expand because I'm in a place where I can actually have these goals and achieve them, right? And that means I'm pouring more into the local community. I'm creating jobs. I'm generating products. While if I didn't have the resources to do any of these things, if I was just living in the States and just getting by, just having enough to save for my retirement and a little bit more, have a vacation at the end of the year, well, my vision couldn't really grow too much if I didn't have the availability of either more resources or lower cost service providers. And
yeah,
so I'm able to do something that I couldn't do because of this. Not so it's not even just about saving money, right? Because saving money, to be quite honest, I'm not saving money, right? I'm investing now, right? I'm at the point where it's
yeah.
like, okay, the money that I would have spent on these other things in the States, now I'm taking that and I'm investing it into my businesses. And the payoff is coming in, but the bigger payoff is what I expect to see in the future. And in that, I see expecting, employing more people and doing more work and doing more projects because I have that benefit of that lower cost of services.
And that's what it's about, man. Is to be able to do that. Because I know you experienced it just living in the U.S. Like it doesn't allow you. Like, don't get me wrong. I love my country. I'm American. Always will be an American. But our cost of living is high. It's
Right.
undoubtedly high. It's expensive to live in the United States. Companies really don't want to pay you like that. So it's
And don't
hard.
get sick without health insurance.
Don't get sick. You're done.
Well, okay.
You're a dead person.
Well, they have Obamacare, but
Man, you
typically,
still gotta have a little something, something for that.
yeah,
You still gotta
yeah.
have some
Typically,
kind of income or something, or they
some,
gonna penalize you.
yeah, yeah.
So, cause man, that was one thing. Just to go off into a tangent, I didn't like that. I used to get penalized each year. They used to take $1,000
Yeah, I
just
know
because
what you
I didn't
mean.
have the Obamacare thing. Man, I was like, bro, what?
It's expensive. It's
It's
expensive.
expensive, man, and you getting dinged. You getting dinged for so many different things in the U.S. You're getting dinged, man. Just unexpected dings. You can't. You got to be absorbently rich out there to live comfortable. Like you got to be like ridiculous. You got to be like millionaire. And a millionaire, you might even feel like a middle class out in the U.S.
This is again. This is another reason why I'm here, right? There's obviously there's a difference between our ages, and I might be a little closer to retirement than you are, but um, the in the former world, I used to be in financial services, and I used to help people with their investments, and I would help people with their retirement planning. And at an early age, I realized that being prepared for retirement on your own is a very difficult task, right? It requires a lot of discipline. It,
Yeah.
in some cases, good luck, um, and some good financial decisions that lead up to your day of retirement. And for many Americans, there's all kinds of stats that talks about this, but it's probably safe to say that for the majority of Americans, they are not going to be prepared for their own retirement when they get to the age of 65. They're
Yeah,
not
which is
going
gonna
to
be
be
scary.
prepared, right? And those that have something are not going to have enough to last them through the rest of their life. And so there's a big gap in how do you go from the day of retirement to your day of your death and live comfortably, right? Forget about doing whatever you want, right? Forget about like going fishing every day and traveling, but just being
Yeah,
able to live comfortably.
just to eat
That
and to
just
make a
yeah,
sandwich.
and not have to give up like, oh, it's either eat or get
Or
my
pay these light
medicine
bills.
or pay these light bills, right? For a lot of people that okay, I got to work to 72 then because I can't retire at 65. I can't retire at 66 and a half, right? I got to go all the way to 72 because I can't afford it. And so for a lot of Americans, they can't do this, right? They can't do this. But what we've been told, oh, 401k, IRA, and get all these different things. Well, for the majority of Americans who don't have a pension, they're going to find themselves in a situation where if you can't work, what do you do? If your Social Security ain't going to cut it, what do you do?
Yeah,
And
what's
and if you
happening?
don't own your house, if you don't have relatives who'll take you in, or if you don't have a number of things that would help you through that transition, you are screwed. Now,
You done for it, yeah.
now you could accept that you're screwed and just be a burden to your other family members, your children, your brothers, your other siblings and stuff like that. But that sucks, right? Being a burden, because you did what you thought was right. I put in my money in a 401k. I got $100,000 in a 401k. Well, $100,000 in a 401k at 65 ain't gonna last you very long in the United States, right?
Yeah, not at all.
But
You might not even last a year,
uh,
6 months.
well, you get your Social Security, right? You get your Social Security check, but that ain't gonna be enough if you in LA. That ain't gonna be enough if you in New York. That ain't
In
gonna
New York,
cut it. You gotta be living in a rooming house for elderly folks or something like that. You gotta have
that'd be
five
crazy. Yeah,
roommates,
you can't live. You
right?
can't live off of
Right?
that, man. You need at
Yeah.
least
Don't have any
$1 million
pre-existing
to $5 million
conditions.
by retirement age.
Yeah, so don't have any preconditions where you need like medical treatment or something. Oh, but then it's even worse, right? So that's where the idea there's a lot of people who are nearing retirement who are or are already in retirement age that are looking at places like Latin America as an alternative. It's an alternative
To
to
live in
moving
that,
down to
yeah.
Florida and buying a house and retiring in Florida. Okay, some people are going to Mexico because it's nearby. Some people are going to Peru. If they got the right kind of way of doing that, or here in Colombia, or I don't know, Guatemala, or something else, right? So it's one of those things where I think people are opening their mind to going into other places and experiencing life much more affordably than if they were in their home country.
Yeah. No, and that's the truth. Because if you look at it, man, just off of just pure finances, you need about $1 million in a 4%, 5%
Yep.
dividend yield to even be decent.
Half to get fifty
So
thousand
hundred
dollars a year, right?
the fit, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And that's
you
and most people ain't kicking that. They're not
right.
organizing that. They're
It's
like you
hard.
said, they work their whole life and it's 100 grand. That's what I got, and I'm 65, and that's
Now
what a
what?
lot of Americans
Now
are
what?
gonna face. Like, what am I gonna do? And we're all on a track to Social Security running out anyway. For a lot
Oh,
of
don't
people,
even
a
get
lot of
started with that.
generations. Yeah, so it's like really you are going to have to make decisions like this in the future. Like I cannot live in my country as an old person. Like my kids are not rich enough to take care of me. Like so it's going to be a big thing like what's going to happen with those retirees, and Latin America is a good alternative, and I hope a lot more Latin American countries open up their borders for long-term stays for our old people. You know, they can spend American dollars and stimulate your economy and put a lot more services back into practice, like cleaning services and things like that. It would build whole industries up out there, letting a lot more older foreigners in. Because I think it would be a good solution for America to keep the competitive, able-bodied citizens still in their country producing and generating, and then there are older people that cannot contribute anymore but still want to live comfortable, can go to these other countries and stimulate their economy with their pension and their savings. Win-win for everybody.
Yes,
So
there's
I think
certainly a
that's
lot of
something
benefits. There's certainly a lot of
government-wise.
benefits for people to consider this, especially as again we're talking about retirees. I'm close to that. I got a while to go, but I'm thinking about it before I get there. Now, yeah, that having the freedom to do that now, having the ability to set myself up now to do that is important, and knowing that I have enough time to really make sure that I have a good retirement, is one of the reasons why I'm here. But if you take away the financial or the logic side, there's also the way I feel here, right? The way the
Yeah.
people make me feel, right? The way my experience of just interacting in places, how I feel here is another reason, right? Like I've never felt more free and than here, right? There's a sense of freedom. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if you could relate, but I sense a sense of freedom,
No,
and
I,
and
I can
and
definitely relate.
and
I can
so
definitely relate.
those are just some of those things. But then, like I said, the interacting with the musicians and the culture is like another thing that really gives me a nice warm lovey-dovey feeling when I'm interacting with people and I'm seeing their creativity. And so with that, your creativity, you now, well, not now because you were doing this before, but you have content. You've got songs in Spanish, in English, Spanglish, um, and I think you were doing that before you were really like here, right? Do you have plans for
Yeah.
doing more content, more music in Spanish, only in Spanish, Spanglish? What's next for you as it pertains to your experience with music in Latin America?
So that's like an excellent question. And the plan is definitely to get deeper into Spanish culture, Spanish music, because I want to sign artists out here. And I believe me touching on it and bridging that gap as an urban U.S. artist to Latin America and actually getting songs on the radio independently, getting millions of impressions, millions of reach, tens of millions of people have seen the name. Um, this place has empowered me to do that. And it's only right that I continue on the path of catering to them because they are giving me a lot of the strength and the backing that I need to keep doing this. And of course, I will not abandon my English speaking fans, my people from Kenya, my people from Philippines, my people from the Middle East, my people all over Africa, all over Europe, all over South America and South Korea, just worldwide. They like the music with the Spanglish. They relate to it because it helps them get into a different culture as well. It helps someone from Kenya get into the Latin American culture and the Black urban culture, and seeing how their Afrobeat. can be inspired by what I'm doing and combining their styles with Latin American styles. Because the two biggest consumers are going to be Latin American, Hispanic people, according to Nielsen, and Black people.
Right.
Just to be honest, like we are big consumers. So catering to us, looking like us, speaking the language is only right. It's only smart to continue
Right.
on that path. Like continue making Spanish songs, continue making Spanglish songs, continue sticking to a urban reggaeton, Afrobeat style, continuing to hire people from local cities and places to let them eat. So I'm not just appropriating their culture and not giving them no benefits. No, you get to eat too, and doing that and replicating that in each country. And I know artists has been doing that, but
Right.
they do it from such a big level. I don't really see the connection that they're making with the fans. Like I'm out with the fans. I talk to up and coming artists. I shoot videos with them. I help them get to the point to where now you're no longer just focusing on me. This is about you. My song is just the background.
Right.
You show them your skills, and connecting people like that is only right. And you can't win any war by yourself. You need people to believe in you, to follow you, to be inspired, and to have a common goal. And I can't have a selfish ambition with that. I can't, because then other people won't be inspired to why should I even participate in this? This is only about you. And even though I know in the culture and the spirit of hip hop, there is that level of, okay, yeah, this is about me. I made it here. I'm fresh. Look at me. I got this. I got a bust down. Blah blah blah. Da 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 da. And that doesn't help anybody. And I'm more so leaning towards what Michael Jackson's mission was. When you listen and look at a lot of what Michael Jackson wanted to do, he wanted to help people escape because he understood pain. And that's why you seen Michael Jackson as one of the groundbreaking artists to do what we're doing now, is to look for other places where music can be produced and participated in. Michael Jackson did videos in South America, in Brazil, in Africa, and connecting people and bringing light on people's situations. And that's what I want to do as an artist. I want to bring light on real situations and do it in my own way, my shadow
Right.
way, not a way that is just a copy of someone else. I want to do what Michael Jackson did to James Brown. He took what James Brown was a little bit, and if you listen to his interviews, that's how he developed his persona and
Mm-hmm.
his, flamboyancy was watching James Brown, and he built upon that archetype and he made himself Michael Jackson. I want to take that same thing with the artists I'm inspired by and the culture that I'm inspired by, which is the Latin American, Afro, Latino, urban culture, and bringing light into that with my American access and do it in a way that is the mission of helping people escape, helping people understand what love is, again, romantically in urban music, reviving romance in urban music. So you guys can keep making your songs about, that's your gap, that's your void you're fulfilling. Let me handle this romance, big dog. You know what I'm saying? I got this part that urban music can love and be romantic again and combined with the Latin culture. I feel like it's going to be unstoppable and something big is going to come from this, especially this year. Y'all stay tuned. Yeah, like the video, comment, share it with your friends.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, man,
Live from Lima, Peru, and Cartagena, Colombia. Shadow, the Archangel, Música Local. Thank you for spending this time with us, Shadow, and telling us about what you got going
thank you
on and your
all.
experience. I can't wait to see what 2022 brings for you and the success, much success and blessings to you on everything that
Man,
you're
same for
doing.
you, brother, man, same for
Thank
you.
you, thank you, thank you. I really enjoyed this. And if you're watching, subscribe to our channels, follow us for more content just like this. Thank you.
Thank you all for watching Musica Local. This has been your boy Shadow the Archangel, CEO, founder of Style Brands, trademark pending. Thank you all. We have something big coming for you soon. Shows, music videos, all types of stuff. Link up with us, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow Musica Local. This is going to be revolutionary, revolutionary channel, revolutionary platform. Can't give you too much sauce. Man, y'all take care. Love from all the star hearts as well.
All
Take
right,
care,
bro.
y'all. Thank you for having me, bro.